She's a labor doula, postpartum doula, and a lactation consultant. I'm talking about Kayla Lloyd, CEO of Abounding Love Doula. She's ready to serve the families of South Jersey. Certified by the Children and Postpartum Professionals Association, Kayla knows her stuff when it comes to being a doula, and she schooled me on exactly what a doula's responsibilities are. Graduated from Rowan University in psychology and is currently working on her doctorate in clinical psychology, not just for herself, but to give back to the community from whence she came. And that's why I'm delighted to have her on my show. Kayla Lloyd, you are definitely what's good in South Jersey. Kayla Lloyd, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so glad that you here this morning because man, as a man with no kids, let me tell you, a lot of the things that you are certified, your profession and what you do went right over my head. I'm not even going to hold you. I was like, so she does what now? So, but it sounded pretty interesting after reading
Right.
your bio and looking at your website, the Abounding Doula. I was like, okay, I'm glad I have you in front of me so you can tell me and clear this up for me. What exactly is a doula?
So a doula is a non-medical professional that's a part of the birthing team that is essential to the mom and to the family. So a doula supports mom, family during the labor process. Now, there are a couple of different types of doulas. In this case, I am a labor doula and a postpartum doula. The difference between the two is that, so with a labor doula, you actually are there with mom and family, you know, prenatal. So while she's pregnant, and you're with her throughout that process to give her, you know, support, knowledge, deeper insight into what may be talked about in her prenatal visits at her doctor's or with her midwife. And so you're there just to support her in that aspect. And then you're also there at the actual labor, which
Oh
is
my gosh.
awesome.
Okay.
And so I'm there in the labor room, assisting and helping mom to have the planned birth that she desires. And so some people, they want to go natural. Some people, they want to have some type of intervention, such as like an epidural. That's what most people know of. And so no matter what, me specifically, I support whatever the mom needs. So let's say a mom undergoes a C-section, a cesarean, which, you know, it happens. And sometimes it's definitely medically necessary. I support whatever mom needs. And so that's what a labor doula is. But now a postpartum doula, they're there with the family after baby is born. So baby is here, baby's present. And family is at home. A postpartum doula really supports family with, you know, also that knowledge, that emotional support, helping mom to like even process her birth.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a different birthing story. Everything is not all bad. However, sometimes moms, they just need that processing period. And it's kind of hard to process if you don't necessarily know who to talk to. So I'm there as that listening ear, but then I'm also there to really lighten mom's load, you know, doing light chores around the house. So, you know, dishes and vacuuming, light laundry,
It sounds
running
like you're an
errands.
honorary member of the family. Like whatever
basically,
family is. Am
basically.
I right? Yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
no, seriously. And you really do become like very close to the family, especially being around them and, you know, assisting them with whatever they need. Um, you really do become kind of like honorary family. Like I tell all of my clients, like, we're friends after this. You know what I mean? Like, I leave that door open to, you know, for them to come back and ask me questions later on and things of that nature. But to me, absolutely, I definitely agree with, you know, being a part of the family once you're there. But that's a labor doula and a postpartum doula.
When did you say, okay, this is something that I want to get into? Because I think that you have to have some type of mindset, um, be built for something like this, if you will. So
Yeah.
when did you decide that that's the type of discipline that I'm going to invest in, that you're going to invest in?
Um, Actually, it was before I had my daughter. I know most people's stories, they start after they have their kids and things of that nature, but I've actually always wanted to be a doula because I've always been fascinated by birth. I think that
Wow.
pregnant women are like very beautiful. I love, the transformation that happens, and even down to, like I've been to, before even being the doula, I've been to people's births. So, even that process was like just really, really cool to me. And so it started back when, yeah, it was before I had my daughter, because I can't even really pinpoint a specific time, but I knew that I wanted to really go into it after having my daughter. I didn't actually have a doula myself. I wish I had. But, while I was in postpartum, and postpartum just means after birth. And so after I had my daughter, I kind of realized like, okay, I needed some of that help and, some of that aid. And so I actually just started doing research in regards to, more of what doulas do. I got certified kind of like right away. And then my thing was I wanted to be what I felt like I needed at that time. And at that time, I really
Mm.
didn't need a lot of help because that transition, it can be, like I said, it can be a lot. And so, although, yes, I had my family, I had my husband, Rob, I had all the support that was there. However, sometimes mentally, things don't necessarily go the way that you had planned. You may have your birth plan and then it goes completely opposite of what that is, because you can't necessarily tell a baby when to come. The baby just comes. And so with my experience, I ended up actually having a C-section, and that I was supposed to go all natural. And so with my C-section, um, you kind of undergo like a lot of pain afterwards, just because that's a major surgery. Like it's a serious surgery. They cut through almost maybe like 4 layers just to get to the baby, and then well, actually it's a little bit more than four, but we'll say four for now.
Oh my gosh.
To get to the baby, and then you have to heal. You have to take that extra time to heal. Studies have shown that it takes up to a year. Like sometimes they say 6 months, but it's really up to a year for your body to completely heal from a cesarean. And so with that, I just needed a lot of help. And yes, I had family, I had my husband, I had people around me, friends that would come and help me out. But I just feel like I needed a little bit more support. And that's what a doula does, like that's her job or his job. And so, yeah, that's what made me want to go into this, because I really wanted to be the resource that I was looking for. So, yeah.
I had you. I wonder, while you were healing from
Hmm.
um your cesarean, what were the things specifically that you would have liked done that you're doing? So like the light chores, that's something that was
Hmm.
prioritized for you or would have been on your priority
Yeah,
list?
absolutely. Because I'm a bit of a neat freak. So, in that aspect, I definitely wanted, um, to like make sure that our house was clean, and I kind of tried to do those things. And then I was also breastfeeding, and so um I felt like, and for a little bit I needed a little bit of help with that. um and I called my doctor, or my midwife, and I got the help that they were able to give me. However, I also didn't see anybody specifically, and that's also something that I wish I had done. And so again, like everything that I actually am doing now is because I wish I had those resources at the time.
Exactly. Right.
And so
Right.
I'm also a lactation consultant, and
I
the
was
reason
gonna
that I
say
went
that. I
into
was like,
that
is that
was
why you're a lactation consultant? Because of your experience?
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny because I'm still breastfeeding now. My daughter, she is 16 months. And it's funny because I only had a goal. I really, really, really wanted to do it. And she latched okay in the hospital, but because she was born 4 pounds 10 ounces. She was small, and so her mouth wasn't, as big, so it was kind of hard for her to latch and everything like that. But I just made it work because like I had a will to not give up on it. I just kind of roughed it out and toughed it out. I didn't have as much support as I felt like I would have liked, because I had so many questions about, keeping my my supply like where I wanted it to be or where it should be, or what should my supply be, how much should she be eating. And so I diverted all those questions to my daughter's doctor. And so I mean, I ended up figuring it out because I'm still doing it to this day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now I'm in the process of weaning her off. But yeah, so that's why I really do what I'm doing, just because I really felt like I needed those resources, and I want to be that resource for other people, because some of the things, they don't have to be as daunting or feel like they're overwhelming you,
Hmm.
as they do if you just have resources.
Your business is called Abounding Love.
Hmm.
Abounding Love. Okay. So I'm curious, why did you name it that, Abounding Love? Because the definition of abounding says plentiful,
Yeah,
plenty.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So there's
a
no
lot.
shortage around here.
Grand.
So what
Yeah.
was the thinking into naming your business Abounding Love Doula?
So I'm sitting in the backseat of my car. My husband's driving, and he actually asked me, he's just like, have you started thinking of any names for your business? And I was just like, not really. And so I'm looking at Noelle. She's sitting there in the car. And I was just thinking about, like, how much I love her and everything like that. And then I started thinking about my business. And it's just like, okay, what are some things that I really want to display? What are some things that I want for each client to really feel? If they don't feel anything else, what do I want them to feel? And I started thinking, I do have, I hold my relationship with God pretty closely to me. And so I was also thinking about what he displayed to me that I actually displayed to Noelle. And I was just like, abounding love. And so I looked up the word abounding, and I was just like, okay, I love this meaning. And I feel like that's what God gives me on a daily basis. And that's the type of love that I have for Noelle. But that's also really what I want to portray to each client, because, I just felt like if I can display that and have them walk away feeling that, then I feel like I'll have done the best service ever.
Mm,
Because that's one of the greatest things that God has done for me, which is love me. And I feel like as a mother, that's what you do with your children as well. But, as a support person, that's really, really what I want to be. And so the abounding part, it comes out when it's like, I want to make sure that I'm giving great knowledge, great compassion, um, great resources, just everything, like just a great service. And so that's where the abounding comes from. But then love is because it's something that I really love to do, but it's something that I want each client to truly feel. And so that's where Abounding Love was birthed.
what does it take for a family to let their walls down and allow you to do your job? Did they trust you right off the bat?
Um, I mean, some do, some, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but sometimes it's more so the mom that's open and the dad that's kind of standoffish. And I think that's because of the perception, that it's almost like, well, you're coming to take my spot. And that's so not what I'm here to do. I actually love uh, working with people like that, so that they can actually understand, like, no, I'm here for all of you. I'm not just here for mom. I'm not just here for mom and baby, but I'm here for all three of you, or all four of you, or however many we're adding on to the family. I'm here for the entire family. And so off the bat, for the most part, yes, because it's something that most, or like, if you're seeking out, services like this, is because it's something that you want. But of course, you always have to build rapport. You always have to build a relationship. And I try my best to make sure that I'm available for that through, our prenatal visits. That's why I provide a complimentary consultation, just so that we can get to know each other to see if we're a good fit, because we may not always be a good fit for each other. And that's fine. And if we're not, I can refer you to other doulas that I know that may be a perfect fit for you. And so that's why I also do that complimentary consultation, so that we can get to know one another. But I have had situations where, dads are not as welcoming and warming as mom is, but that's because they feel like they're being pushed out. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
again, that's not my job to push you out. My job is to like bring you in, so that we can all be on the same page, because like I want to be there for dad just as much as I want to be there for mom. So,
They better man
if
up. Dad better
that
get some.
is
So, I better get out of here with your insecure behind, Dad.
no, well, not necessarily that. I think it's more of a you're trying to take my spot. And I
Mm-hmm.
get that, because it's like, well, if you're not completely familiar with what a doula does and how she supports or how he supports, um, then that would kind of be the thought process. It's just like, well,
Mm-hmm.
you're bringing in this person that is technically like a birth professional, and so they're the expert, and so they've done this. Um, how do I fit in? And so I make sure that, when I see that I really wrote that in. Like I do that anyway, but I,
Right.
I keep them as involved as possible. So yeah.
So, okay, you're in the delivery room. Let's paint
Hmm.
the picture right quick. Dad's
Hmm.
there, twiddling his thumbs, nervous.
Right, right,
Hope she's
right.
all right. I hope she's okay. Where are you at with the mother? Like, where do you come in? Are you holding her hand as well, or are you? I'm assuming you have to be so in tune with this family that you know kind of what the woman or the mother's habits are and what she's needing and things like that.
Mhm.
Kind of walk me through it, as far as like you're in the delivery room, contractions are heavy.
Right.
What are you doing?
So it depends. It depends on each family, because, one thing that I do is I try to make sure that I'm asking specific questions during our previous visits, so that I know what the atmosphere that we're trying to create. Again, I try to make sure that everybody is on the same page.
Yeah.
And so let's say dad is supporting mom, standing right next to her, just giving her affirmations, words of encouragement, the contractions, the real intense at that moment. And so I'm really there just supporting them both. I'm being watchful of the surrounding, making sure that the atmosphere is the way that mom wants for it to be, making sure that they're both okay in that moment. And so really just there to support what's happening. Let's say dad, I'm recognizing, okay, it's been about 10 hours, you haven't eaten anything. Why don't you go and grab something to eat? Let's swap out, tag me in, and, I'll be that support person for mom. Go grab you something to eat, come right back. And so I'm there also in that sense too, because,
Mhm.
labor, it can be a long time. And, we need everybody to have their energy to birth that baby. And so if I'm recognizing, certain things happening, or let's say, we've been in a certain position for a period of time, okay, let's try to change the position, to make mom a little bit more comfortable, but to also get contractions going a little bit more, because the ultimate goal is for you to contract so that we can birth the baby. Contractions just bring you closer to the baby. And so with each contraction, a baby is coming down further and further and further.
Wow.
And so if there's ways that we can do that by changing your position, I'm there to offer that, and then to assist and actually help move, and maneuver, um, in that way. Not to necessarily, be in the way of anything, but more so to support the environment and the type of birth setting that mom actually wants. And so, some people, they want a natural birth. I'm there to support that. Some people, they don't necessarily want a natural birth, but they still want to make sure that they have someone there that can help them make informed decisions. Let's say doctor comes in and makes a suggestion, and says, hey, we should do so and so. I'm there to, one, explain, two, make sure that that couple has some time to actually make an informed decision for, what's best for their family. And so, sometimes I may have to ask the couple, do you need some time to uh, talk amongst yourselves to see if that's something that you want to do?
Right.
And they'll say yes, or they'll say no. Like, they may know right away what it is that they want to do, but they may not. So yeah, that's normally how that goes.
I was reading this article from the American Heart Association, right? And there was a part
Mhm.
that says Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy
Yeah.
related causes more than white women. And they say
Hmm.
that there's a lot of racial and ethnic disparities or socioeconomic economic issues that may come up that may play a part in the fatalities of these women. And
Yeah.
for you being a fairly new mother, right? Because your daughter is about a year old, right?
Hmm.
And also you being a doula,
Hmm.
as a doula, as someone's doula, how do you remedy that? Like, how do you play a part in making sure that um, the doctor and the staff are doing right by this family?
It's actually a big part also of why I continue to do the work, because um, once I started doing more and more and more research, I'm finding the same things, and educating myself. Thus, for you know, almost taking me down more of a activist route, and so I would definitely call myself an activist in that standpoint, because um, it the numbers are way too high and it's happening way too frequently. And so my role in that is education and making sure that my parents have that knowledge. Our natural thing when it comes to doctors nowadays is just to believe what the doctor says, right? However, and I'm totally not against doctors. However, what I am saying is that there is a way to say no. There is a way to uh, disagree or even ask questions, and say, is this medically necessary? Is this something that needs to be done? Is this something
Mhm.
that will be detrimental to my health and to my baby? Um, but again, not a lot of people know that. And then when it comes to the education portion, it's also about paying attention to those things that are happening when you're going on your prenatal visits, and asking questions there too. You know what I mean? Because some things, they are medically necessary. Some things have to be done, such as if there's uh, like preeclampsia, that's hypertension while you are pregnant, and that can cause a lot of issues. So I can understand in those situations, but then sometimes it's like the doctor won't catch it, or they they don't even pay attention to the fact that mom is saying that she has headaches, and that she doesn't feel well. Like, there's certain things that are being ignored, and so those are the things that I'm also paying attention to, because I know what to look for. It's like, okay, no, we need to talk about this. You need to make a doctor's appointment. You need to call your doctor. You need to ask this specific question about this, that, and the third, so that we don't have you know we don't add more to the mortality rate or the infant mortality rate, um, because a lot of things, they really can be um, prohibited. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
a lot of those things we can avoid if they're caught early. Like, a lot of it does have a lot to do with racism, but some of it has a lot to do with preconceived notions of women of color having a high tolerance for pain. To me, that's
Mm.
just a very ignorant mindset to take,
That's a
when it comes to when it comes to someone in their health and even their life. And so, in regards to um, like health disparities, it's kind of crazy, but the basis of it is racism,
mm.
and that's
And
just flat out.
I can see where a doula is needed because it's almost like raising a child. It takes a village.
It's
So
a village.
doing
Absolutely.
that, with the husbands there to support the mother, but her family, God willing, be there to support her. But then there's an extra pair of eyes. It's like there's an extra pair
Hmm.
that's like, okay, all the other hands got so many different things in them, but here I am just as an extra pair, and I'm here whenever you need me. Just let me know. I wonder,
Yeah.
how early do you suggest a family sign on and hire a doula? Like, should they do it as soon as they read the stick? Oh snap, we're pregnant. Let's go get a doula. Or should we do it, 6 months in? What would you suggest?
um, I would suggest the earlier the better. I mean, I've had situations where, it's the month of, and hey, if that's what you want to do, cool. But the thing is, you want to build a relationship with your doula. You want to get to know your doula as much as possible. Um, if we could do it within that month, that's great. But if you feel like, okay, I really do want that, you know, that time to actually be able to get to know you and, talk to you, because once you hire a doula, and everybody is different, or every doula is different in how like they operate.
True.
But as for me, once you hire me, you do have access to me via text, after like a half an hour after each doctor's appointment. That way, if there were things that was discussed and you need a little bit more information, or you want to ask your doctor questions and don't really know how to formulate them, we can go over that. And so I try to avail myself in a way where we are getting to know each other.
Right.
I'm paying attention to, the things that you want within your birth. And we'll do our best as a team, family and me. And then in addition to the nurse and then your OB or your midwife, as a cohesive birthing team to make sure that that actually happens. So I say the earlier the better, but there's never really like a too late time to do it. You know what I mean?
Got you. Got it. Definitely. Let's talk about your let's brag on you for a little bit, Kayla. You graduated
Oh,
from Rowan University with a bachelor's
yes,
degree in psychology, and you
yes.
are currently working on your PhD. Am I right? Or do you already have
So
it?
I am in. No, 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 no. Definitely don't already have it. I am in the process. Absolutely. Yeah. We'll be working on my PhD very, very soon. So
Right, in clinical psychology, right? And what you want to do with that is take
yeah.
that into the areas where there are young Black men and women and be helping them with some mental health.
Absolutely.
I am so
Absolutely.
curious. Like, you have a servant's heart, it looks like. You want to go get educated and then bring it out to the people. So with that being said, you say you want to open up a wellness center for
I
people
do.
and for kids. And, I'm just curious. I'm talking legacy now. Where will you
Hmm.
be in 5 years, maybe 10 years, when people start bringing up the history books about what Kayla Lloyd did? And what will they say? What do you want them to say about you?
Uh, that she served the community, for real. Because I really just want to, like, the heart of all of this, it stemmed from, well, even with that, it stemmed from me not having those resources, right? And so after I had my daughter, I dealt with a bit of like postpartum depression, more so postpartum anxiety, really bad. And so I ended up going to a therapist, but it took me a very, very, very long time to find somebody that kind of specialized in what I needed. And I felt like that was kind of ridiculous. We don't have that many resources, um, for postpartum, and I think that with how many parents are becoming new moms, or how people are birthing these days, and how many, we need to have those resources for parents, because uh, postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, all that stuff is real. You know, and it takes a toll on somebody. And so for us to not have those resources, it's setting up for the family. Like, it's, to me, it's setting the family up, um, to undergo just a lot more issues instead of success. So it's everything the opposite of success to me. When you don't have resources in place for a family to be successful. And so because it took me so long, I was just like, it really like just resonated with me and brought back up the desire to want to go back into therapy. Like I've always wanted to have my own practice and everything like that. I put it aside just because, you know, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do it in. And then, you know, all of that stuff happened with me. And I was just like, this is exactly what I want to do it in. I have, you know, because postpartum, it doesn't just affect mom, it also affects dad, but nobody really talks about the effects that it has on dad. And research also shows that when it comes to a mom dealing with like postpartum depression, it can last up to 3 years.
Wow.
And with it going that long, you know, mom can, you know, like there's so many routes that it can take in a negative light that
Hmm.
I truly want to speak to that, and really help people with that because, like I said, it's real. Like I read a case not too long ago where a mom, she committed suicide because she was dealing with postpartum depression. And it was like a year later, the baby was born, and the dad spoke out. And it was really, really sad. And, you know, it touched my heart in a way where it was just like, dang, like, I thank God that wasn't me, but I also thank God that I'm in a position where I can like directly help in that aspect.
Hmm.
And so yeah, that's really my desire for even wanting to go back to school and get my PhD. So yeah.
Well, I'm really glad that you're here. I'm really glad that people have access to you so that you know, because you can school them on things that they may not ever see coming. So, you know, you can get them prepared to have a healthy relationship with their baby and, you know, within their family, and look out for the
Mhm.
dads too. Not just the moms,
Right,
but, you
right.
know, look out for the dads
Yeah.
too. And I
The
think that's
family
awesome.
as a whole, like the family
Yeah,
as a whole has to succeed is my thing. So
most
yeah.
definitely. Most definitely. I want to make sure that we know that we could contact you so many various ways because you're on social media as well. We have
Yeah.
everything is Abounding Love Doula, right? Instagram,
Yes, yes.
Facebook. You got a
Mhm.
Twitter?
I don't have
Be
a
tweeting?
Twitter. I don't have a Twitter.
Okay.
I'll be tweeting.
Tweeting lactation tips.
I could. I probably could. Maybe I'll get into Twitter a little bit later. But yeah, I've never been like a Twitter person. But maybe I'll get into it. But
Gotcha.
everything is Abounding Love, Abounding Love Doula on Instagram, Facebook. And then my website is www.aboundinglovedoulas.com. My email is aboundinglovedoulas with an S um, at gmail.com.
Got it. And my last question for you, Kayla, would be, or is rather, what's something that is essential that a family needs during pregnancy, like during that time, but is something that I would say the father. What's something that like fathers should be in tune with, that they should know, that will really help the thing go along easier, that will help the pregnancy process go that much easier as a
Hmm.
dad.
Okay. The support of a doula, of course. Like no,
Of course, of course.
of course, right? No, I definitely think that um, if father knows, hmm, I think that if father knows, um, like how to uh, assist mom, that would make things a lot better and things, I'm not going to say smoother, but it would definitely keep them in tune. So sometimes, you know, I have to ask these questions so that it kind of brings it out to everybody. But like, I'll ask mom, like, okay, what is it that you desire during your birth? Or what do you want your birth to look like? Um, and so once everybody knows those things, it's easier for us to support. So I think that that would be making sure that he knows what the desired birth plan is, if you will. That way he knows exactly how to support mom. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I think this is where we will land this plane. Miss
Okay.
Lloyd, thank you for spending time with me and letting me know about what a
Absolutely.
doula does. And it's good
Absolutely.
to know that we have a doula in South Jersey, and her name is Kayla Lloyd. And we can
For
find, and
sure.
we know where to find you now.
Yes, yes, yes.
So thanks again. You are definitely what's good in South Jersey, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.
All right.